Good day, XCOM fans. This is Delta Angelfire here, bringing you another XCOM multiplayer match. Today's match we're going to be watching is going to be between myself, Delta, and my opponent is going to be Kingsley. This is going to be a standard ranked ladder game, and it is going to be taking place on Trainyard. My current build that I'm running is going to be a 2 Sectoid Commander build, and we're going to see if Mind Control is going to be able to win me this match. My opponent Kingsley is going to be using a 6 soldier build, and his wildcard slot is going to be filled today with a Machinegunner. Heavy soldiers are actually pretty rare in high-end matchups, so we're going to see if this little piece of tech is going to pay off for him. Now, this commander build is trying to be well-rounded. We're using 2 Sectoid Commanders instead of 3, so that we're not vulnerable to anything that's immune to psionics. And we're using a Hunter for scouting, because it has a good damage output. It can take out low-level soldiers in one shot, which is going to be very important. And it has this battle scanner ability. Knowing where your opponent is and how they're going to be attacking, and even what units they have, is going to be a very important part for any build that involves Sectoid Commanders. You really need to figure out where they're going to be coming from, because you need to have your units in position, and you need to make sure you're targeting the correct units. If you only see the low-level units and go after them, you're going to be having a much harder time than if you find one of their key prized units and manage to score a mind control on one of those units instead. Now, the key thing about this matchup is going to be a little bit of math. With most high-end soldier builds, you're going to see 6 units. Sometimes it's going to be a lot of very evenly distributed units, but always there's going to be a couple that are just a little bit stronger than the rest, whether they have a little bit of extra armor, or are a different class so they can output more damage. But the basic soldier is going to be something low level with a light plasma rifle and probably a scope, which means it's going to be able to deal moderate damage in a very reliable fashion because of the high accuracy. You can see here that we need to keep a good eye on the battlefield because you need to know exactly where your opponent is. We especially don't want the enemy finding a flanking position on us, because our squad, while very powerful, is more like a glass cannon. If you take a shot at the wrong time from the wrong direction, it's going to make your entire build fall apart. Here we've seen just about all of the opponent's units, and what we're going to do now is find that simple math. Our opponent has 6 units. In order for us to pretty much guarantee a win, we need to get him down to 3. It doesn't actually matter that much which 3 units these are, because the Sectoid Commanders are going to be a pretty big equalizing force, especially with Mind Control, adding that unit to our available resources. Now, the opponent is proceeding cautiously, as is well advised, because although he knows he's heard the engagement music, he does not know what exactly I'm running yet, while I know what he is running almost perfectly. Here is going to be a key shot you're going to want to find in every match. You have a high cover corner that you can hide around so you don't trigger Overwatch, and you manage to get a kill on one of the opponent's units. Any kill will do, really. This brings us down, with our simple math equation, brings us down to 5 units for the opponent. Only 2 more to go before we are pretty much set. Here we're keeping our ever-valuable Sectoid Commanders out of danger. They are out of sight behind this high cover, and they are also close enough in range that they might be able to do something with their alien grenades, and they will in just a moment as well. I can see very clearly that there is a 9 hit point unit in this corner right there, and he is obviously moving the rest of his units around the far side. Our battle scanner is about to run out, but we've got just enough information that we can take care of it. Now we have to proceed cautiously because we don't want to trigger Overwatch, which is why we're sticking to the corners. In a best case scenario, we would have seen a unit of some sort. Just one would have been enough, and tried to mind control it from our high cover. Failing that, we do still have a shot. We know that there was a 9 HP unit behind this trailer right here, and our alien grenades are going to prove highly effective here. Even though it's out of line of sight, you can chuck the grenades over there, and if you can catch for just a glimpse there, you see the opponent's unit getting thrown into the air from the blast. Our opponent, we can now assume, is down to 4 units, and we're getting ever closer to that magic number of 3. We can see here some of the hilarious quirks of pathfinding in this game, where a unit attempts to go over a train instead of around it. He scores a pretty darn lucky critical on my sectoid right here, but the most a light plasma rifle can do on a crit is still only going to be 9 damage. Not quite enough to take him out. Keeping the commanders in a high cover is also important because, combined with their natural defense, you're going to have a 60% total harder time to hit them, meaning that the opponent could have only had about a 40% chance at best to take out this commander. This, combined with his HP, makes the commander very difficult to take out in the 2 shots my opponent had. My hunter scores a nice kill here on an already wounded soldier thanks to her gunslinger ability. It allows her to fire with lower damage but a higher accuracy than if she had tried to move and use her sniper rifle, and is an ability you definitely don't want to forget you have. Now, thanks to our math count, we know that we're facing 3 soldiers or less of the opponent, so we can afford to play it a little bit riskier with our Sectoid Commanders. We still haven't even used mind control yet this round, and at this point, that could be almost a guaranteed win. The enemy heavy comes out of hiding to make his last stand, and finally the opportunity to show the true strength of this build, which is the mind control mind merge combination. This gives us a 100% chance to take over the soldier, and well, I guess that was the last one. Lucky us, we lucked out. Our opponent only had 5 soldiers, so that is the GG. Our commanders barely had to flex their mental muscles at all, showing how well good information and good positioning can help you take a game. Well guys, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something interesting today. It's a pretty easy build. I'll post it down in the description below. Hopefully we'll be able to see some more psionic antics in the near future. So until next mission, this is Delta Angel Fire, signing off.